Hey guys, it's Kip here from KDC Marketing, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create the Manage Item content page, the dynamic page inside of Wix Studio. It's this fourth item right here, Manage Item page, and a lot of people miss this when they're creating dynamic pages, and what this page lets you do is manage content. So you have a CMS collection where you have a data set of information, and you have your data set, which is the collection. Then you have items inside of that collection. So this page lets you manage the different items in that collection. And this one's only available on Wix Studio, at least as of right now. So the way that I got to here is I just went to my pages and menu. I clicked the plus sign. You could also do it down here from the bottom, add a new page, and then dynamic page, or up here from the top, plus sign, dynamic page. And then you have the manage content page. Now these will only show up if you have CMS enabled on your website. So if you don't have that enabled, you have to go over here to this little icon CMS and turn this on first. Mine's already turned on, so it'll look a little bit different for you if yours is not. It'll ask you to turn it on. You have to turn this on in order for those dynamic pages to show up. So I'm going to go ahead and create this dynamic page now to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to go to my menu, add dynamic page. I'm going to select the manage content, and I'm going to choose a collection. I'm just going to pick something simple. So my team members here, I'm going to click add to site, and it's going to go to this. So it's giving me a prompt here that it's going to say let site members edit collection content. So I'm going to say yes. So it's going to create pages, and then I should be able to configure those settings once I have everything set up. So you can see right now in my team pages over here, which is my collection for team members, I have an item page, a list page, and a manage item page. And this has a little member icon saying that members can edit this. So what it did is it pulled in all of my fields from that collection. And now I can manage these items here on this page. And I should be able to make changes here that will automatically update inside of my collection. So let me go into my collection and show you what I'm talking about with the fields. So I go over here to your collections, then to team. And so I have all of these fields inside of my database. I have status, featured, name, email, job title, long description, photo, short description, website. So I have all these fields. So the manage content page is pulled in these fields automatically. And you can kind of see them here along with the image, and all of this stuff just gets pulled in. So if you have different fields in your collection, it's going to pull in whatever fields you have in your collection automatically. So that's why picking the right collection is important, and making sure your collection is set up in the right way is important, because it's just going to pull all this in when you create the page. So I'm going to go in and kind of show you a little bit about how this works. So I'm going to preview my page here, and I'm going to go to this drop down, and I'm going to select an item. So let's say full name 2. So I'm going to click go, and then the stuff below will update. So you can see the image changed, some of these other fields changed, and then there's all these other things. So if I make a change here, let's say to job title, I'm going to change this out to marketing manager, something that we'll remember. I'm going to click save. This should have updated in the actual collection. So let's go back and check if that is true. So let's go into our collection here and go into our team members and look at our full name too. So the job title is marketing manager. So it did update that one. Let's go in and update something else. Let's go in and update somebody's name here. Let's go back to item 2, click go. Okay, now we're on this one. So I'm going to change the name to John Doe. Click save. And then it should update in the collection. So let me go back here and check my collection just to make sure that it's updating. And sure enough, it will say John Doe in here for this item. So super cool functionality that you can go in and manage item content. And because this is tied to a manage item content page, you should be able to set up certain settings for your data set. So for example, let me go into my collection, and I can start to look at the collection settings. So if I go to collection settings here, I can control item visibility, which I already have set up. So this is the place I need to go in to start configure this. So it says elements on the team manage item page are set to update content, but site visitors don't have permission to update items. Change the permissions or change what the page is set to. Right. So what it's telling me is there's a disconnect that people can not update the content currently. They can view the content, but they can't update the content. So I need to go to the page, and it should allow me to fix this. So I need to go into my data settings here. I'm going to find a field that has the data settings so that I can come here, and I'm going to go to data settings. So here it is telling us again, site visitors can't use the input elements on this page because they don't have permissions to update this content. So I need to go into the collection permissions and fix this. So it's kind of funny. It sent me here, and now it's sending me back to this place. But let's go in and mess with this a little bit and see what we can do. So who can add content to this collection? Everyone who can view content. Let's see. So I might do something like this. I might say that everyone can view, but only members can add, members and collaborators, and items creator can add or update or delete. So you have to start setting permissions here across the board, but you'll notice the admin is checked across the board because that is something that the admin has to be able to do. So this is like a collaborator, like a site collaborator. So this could be somebody who is a client on your website or something like that. Items creator is the person who made the first item. So if somebody makes the item, like let's say you have the set to where members can go in and add an update, then the items creator would be able to go in and add an update and make changes. So that's kind of cool. And then members, but not everyone. So this should fix the issue. If I click save here, that you should see that go away. And so you want to kind of just test out those different permissions, make sure that you have the right permissions so that either members can add, or if you want everyone to be able to add, or if you don't want members to, but you want collaborators to and admins to, you got to kind of think through how you want this to function. But now when I go through and do this, I can go ahead and again, let's have it go to, see now the name is even here for John Doe. Let's go to full name 3 and let's change this job title to sales manager and then click save. And of course I could delete this item from here. I can go to the next item this way by clicking on here, and it's just updating and updating and updating, images updating, all this stuff. So this is a really good type of page for a lot of different use cases. If you have like a listing website, like let's say you had a real estate website and you had real estate listings and you wanted your real estate agents to be able to go in and make changes, but not just everyday people, not all the users, then you could set it to members and then give those real estate agent members permission to go in and update the item. And you want to make sure that they can only update the item they created, not all the items. So again, getting into the permissions and testing that out and everything. Any type of listing site where you want people to be able to go in and manage their item, this is the type of page you want to use for that. And a lot of the features and functionality that you need for that are built in here to this page type inside of Wix Studio. And so I'm just showing you a really simple one with team members, but you could make this about really anything that you could build with CMS. So if you had a real estate listing, which I might have one in here, I have articles. So if I had articles in here, this one has multi-reference and this has all this stuff going on. I have a science articles one in here. So I have all these other CMS collections. So any collection that you have, here's my team members one we've already looked at. You can go in and use that manage item content page with it. And then you would just set the settings for this page, right? So if I go to this page here, this one is set to members by default. But if I go into settings, permissions, so I'm going into the page settings now. So members only. So I have a members only. So it's not everyone can access this page, only members. And then I can specify which members, all members or specific members, members with roles, with subscriptions, site collaborators. So again, going back to that real estate example, let's say that you had a system where it was a plan-based subscription, and real estate agents would pay a certain amount per month to get access to their listings and adding new listings, managing their listings. So you could select this, so only specific members with plan subscriptions can access this page. And then you would go in and create a plan for that. And then that way they have to pay for the plan, then they can access this page, and it will do all those verifications and everything on the back end. But if you need something more simple, maybe it's all members and there's something they have to do to become a site member, then you can do this one here. Or you can make this available to everyone. It doesn't mean it has to be members only. It can be everyone. But the reason it defaults to members only is because usually you only want certain people updating this content and changing the content, people who have access to it, not everybody on the site. A lot of times when these managed content pages are used, these other pages are showing dynamically. So you want to make sure it's somebody that you trust, right? So if I go into this page here, like my team members page, then this is all going to be populated across the site. So if I go back to my team item and I look at item number John Doe, so as soon as I made those changes in the managed content page, it actually updated here. So John Doe Marketing Manager. So you do want to be careful, because if this is showing to all customers, you want to make sure that you trust the people who are making those updates, since it's going to update dynamically across your website. That's also the advantage of this, is that you don't have to go in and make any changes that member can on their own. They can go in and make the changes required to display and show something there. So I don't know if there's a way to approve the changes on the manage item content page. I should look into that and find out if there's a way to approve any new changes so that you can kind of manage that. So I don't know if that exists or not, but I know that you can have members update the collections themselves as long as they have access to it. And they can even create a new item too. So if you look at this, there's these items. There is a scenario where they can add an item here and they can delete and things like that. So hope you found this video helpful. This wasn't showing you everything that's possible, and I need to do a little more research on this myself. But this page type does exist. It's a default page type inside of Wix Studio called the Manage Content page, and you have to scroll down. So you have list, item, blank, and manage content. So it's there. Anybody can access it who uses Wix Studio, and you're using CMS. Those are the, I guess, two requirements. You have to be using Wix Studio and you have to be using CMS in order to use this page type. But it can be a really great thing if it's what you're looking for. And a lot of people want to do this type of stuff with CMS content. They want to have a place where members can go in and manage their items. And a lot of this is already built out of the box, ready to go inside of Wix Studio. You might need to do some customizing, some tweaking, some testing to make sure it's going to work for you. But just wanted to do another just in-depth overview of how this works, setting one up, showing you kind of how it affects the collections. And then there's obviously all those things to think through if you were to actually set this up. Who has access to this page? Members, everybody, members on paid plans, and then what kind of content are they managing, and checking if there's a review process. All that stuff would go into setting this up for real. But it's there, and there's more information that Wix Studio has on their support page as well for the manage item page, and it's definitely something worth looking into. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next video.